So today we're going to be doing the next installment in the game engine playlist. And this is another 2D game engine. It's actually one of the big ones out there. So we've covered GDevelop and we've covered Game Maker or Game Maker Studio, whichever way you want to call it. Well, now we're going to cover Construct3. Now, Construct3 has always been a paid-for product. You haven't really been able to do too much as far as demoing it goes. But I can actually launch it through the web browser now. And from here, we can launch the guided tour, and it will actually give us a tour of it and let us know how to do it. There's also all these examples that you can actually open and edit right in Construct3 to show you how to use it. So yeah, everything from shifting dungeons, boss fights, pinball, side scrollers, gem matching, Doom-esque style. So there's all sorts of examples here that you could try. So I'm going to the free trial here, and I am going to just click on launch the guided tour. Now we're going to take no thanks, not now, or yes, take a guided tour. So we're going to launch it. Click here to create a new project. We don't need to change the project settings, so we'll just click create. Here's a new empty project. We're going to start making a platform game. But first we'll add the player. Next. Let's create the player. Double click to create a new object. So we'll double click in here. And now it wants us to double click to create a sprite. And we click somewhere on our stage. We'll click there. Now it wants us to drag this little piggy character over. So we're going to drag him over, and he will set the sprite up. So now all we have to do is close the sprite, and that little character has been saved. So now we have him, he's on our stage. So I'm just going to scroll over here. Wants us to name him something. That's the one thing about this guided tour is I can't just kind of browse around. I need to kind of do what they're showing us how to do here. So let's just go and call this Piggy. Hit enter. So now we've created a player. Player can't do anything. Add the behaviors. Next. So now it's going to come over here to add edit behaviors. So again, I'll just back up a little bit. You've got your stage in the center, or your scene editor. They actually call it start page, layout 1, event sheet. They've got different tabs, just like GDevelop had different tabs to work in. And you've got your object properties here. So your object, basically just like GDevelop had, it's all laid out on this side. And then over here, you've actually got your hierarchy of your project. And then you've got another layout window down below with your layers and stuff. In GDevelop, that was down here. And in Game Maker, I believe it was over here on this side. So very similar again. And that's the thing with all these, any well-known or well-made game editor, be it 2D or 3D, you're going to have a very similar layout. You're going to have project settings, which in GDevelop is over here, and your entities are over here, although it's kind of the same thing. But you're going to have basically a panel here, sometimes an asset manager or a layer manager on the bottom here, and your main project in the middle, your stage or your scene setup. So anyway, they want us to click here. We'll keep going on. Behavior, add new behavior. And you've got these pre-built 8-direction movement, bullet, car, custom, move to, rotate. We're going to choose platform because that's what they want us to do. We're making a platformer game in this example. But very similar to the movement, pre-built movement controls in Game Maker Studio, and also very, very similar to the behaviors from the behavior selection tab in GDevelop as well. So very similar way of putting things together. Double click on that. All right, click to add another behavior. So we've added the platform behavior. Now they want us to add another one. Scroll to behavior. This will keep it viewed on the center of the player. Okay, so in GDevelop, that was a code snippet that we added to say center on the player. And in GameMaker Studio, I believe once you added the player movement, it focused automatically, but maybe we added another behavior. I don't quite remember. But we'll add that. All right. Well done. Our player now has two behaviors, allowing platform movement with the arrow keys and keeping the view centered on the player. We're done adding behaviors, so now we'll close the behaviors dialog box. Player now has platform move. There's nothing to stand on yet. Let's add some platforms to stand on. So next, double click on a space to create a new object again. So we just want to go open space down here. And it wants us to add a tiled background, a repeating image that's used to add platforms. So double click it. All right. We'll have to select somewhere to place it. I'll select here. They've now opened up the tiled background editor, and there's one here they want us to pre-use. I'll drag it in. It's a brick thing. It auto fits, and just like the sprite editor, we just close it, and it's automatically saved into our objects, and we can see it up here as the tile background. So now it's already on the floor, and now it wants us to add a behavior to it. I'm sure that's going to be the platform behavior. Click on that, add a new behavior. Oh, solid. Solid allows the player to land on this object. Okay, so basically the platform behavior, but instead of calling it a platform behavior, it's just called a solid object. And you'd use that also in 8-direction movement for walls and things like that as well, to prevent you from bouncing or walking right through and exploring the whole world. But now we've added that, we can close that down. Next. Make sure there is room on the floor so they land on the player and start, and then we'll need, okay, next. So I'm just going to drag this. Because it's a tiled background, I can just expand that. So perfect. All right. And then I can control drag to copy. And I can make that smaller. And I can put that right there. Control drag. Another one in that direction. And then control drag another one there, and then we'll see if we can actually jump up to it. Next. Hit the next button. Now they want us to try it out. So we're going to hit play. Now using the arrow keys, let's see. Up jumps. Down doesn't do anything. Left moves me left. Oh, I was able to jump up again. Not quite that high though. Oh yeah, I could do it. So there we go. We've created a simple platform game. We'll close that down. All right. Now we need to make some changes. Move some of these things around maybe. Put that there. Maybe put that one there. Maybe put that one there. Sure. Okay. Next. I already made the changes, but now I'll be able to jump up here easy. There we go. All right. Hit next. Let's add something for the player to run into and pick up, and then we'll create a sprite object for that. So next, double click on an empty space. We'll go right here, I guess. Again, double click on a sprite, just like we did last time. And place it here. And they have a drag and drop apple. I mean, you could make your own thing. You could draw it in. They got a, tomato. All right. Close the editor. It's already there. They want you to rename it so it doesn't just say sprite. Tomato. Enter. Perfect. Now place several tomatoes. Okay. Nice work. One last thing, while we're here, let's add the keyboard object as we'll need it later on. I'm just going to go here and control, there we go, control, there we go. Alright, double click on empty space, keyboard object. Now it's time to make the tomatoes disappear when the player touches them. Event blocks make this easy. Event blocks are added to the event sheet. Next, so just like in Game Maker or in GDevelop, events are basically code functions. So click on the event sheet, add an event. So it's just like the tab in GDevelop. So the condition, okay, so here choose the condition. Now, what do we want? On collision with the object. Okay, so on collision with an object. Then it's going to say what object? Tomato. Done. So that basically what we did was we just set it up so that when the player collides with the tomato, now we need to do an action. Double click. Double click. Next. Next. So see this here, you have 24 events remaining. So you can only do X amount of work in the free version. It's just to get you to see if you like it. So I do recommend if you're into these 2D engines and you want to make a 2D game, go check it out with the free version and see if it works for you. It's very responsive and very clean, and this is just the web browser version, much like GDevelop has a web browser version. Construct3 does as well. I believe Construct3 also has some limited 3D that they've introduced, just like Game Maker Studio and GDevelop have. So far, I've seen the GDevelop stuff looks to be a little more ahead of the Construct3. However, the Game Maker Studio looks to be ahead of the GDevelop. So, depending on what you want to do, they're not really 3D engines. They're kind of pseudo 3D engines, kind of like PlayStation 1 or 2 sort of thing. So. Contact the conditional keyboard, double click it. On key pressed, choose. Oh, we're going to choose a key here. We want the left arrow key. Okay, so what this is going to do is I believe this is going to change the direction of my character. Point him left, point him right, because right now he doesn't move. So that's fine. Done. Okay, now we're going to double click the action. We're going to take the player. Okay, and set mirrored action, which allows the player to face the opposite direction. So because our player is on the screen already facing right, what we're doing is we're telling it, hey, we want you to, when we push the left arrow key, we want you to be mirrored. And so this drop down, it's going to have mirrored and unmirrored, I'm sure. Yeah, there we go, not mirrored. So when we hit the left button key, we want to be mirrored. Next. Oh, I have to hit done, sorry. Next. Okay, now they want to add a new event block. So this will probably be for the right button. So it's facing right normally, but as soon as you've mirrored it, it's now facing left. So to go back to right again, you'll need to non-mirror it so that it faces the original. Well, would you mirror it or non-mirror it? I think you're going to switch it to non-mirror. I think it's going to remember the original state of the graphic rather than the current state of the graphic. But we'll find out what they ask us to do here. Click an event, keyboard, click on keyboard, and it's going to want us to go the right key, yeah, right key, next, okay, done. Then they want us to add the condition, player, and then down here, set mirrored action, which allows us to reset the player to face the pick the set mirrored action. Not mirrored, yeah. So what it is that it's gonna work based off the original state of the graphic, not the current state. And the original state was pointing right. we'll hit play. Right, left, right. See how that works? And there the tomato disappears, and the tomato disappears. So yeah, there we go. That's pretty much a simple platformer game. The tutorial walks you through it. Finish. So there we go. And then of course you could add a bunch more things to this. You could add an extra keyboard for space. I wonder if you can just copy this. Duplicate. Copy a sheet, replace object, make. No, not really. So that's one thing I like about gdevelop is I can actually copy things easily and paste them in. Saves a whole lot of clicking, but this is designed for clickability. So you've got your grid set to 32 by 32, and obviously that player icon. Let me go back here. Oh, sorry. Let me go back here. It's layout page 1. This character is 36 by 51. So he's moving in a 32 by 32 grid. Let me check this out. This one is 144 by 30. Yeah, so again, 32 by 32 grid. I probably would have made that the full size of the grid. But, you know, whatever you're working with. But anyway, that's a quick look at Construct3, the third of the main 2D game engines. So we've looked at gdevelop, we've looked at GameMaker Studio, and now we've looked at Construct3. Those are the three main game engines for 2D game development that are out there, and you can do quite a bit with them, including limited 3D. In the next one, we'll probably take a look at some specialized 2D game engines, or in the next few of them, just to give you an idea what's out there if you're looking for a more targeted approach. And then we'll move on to 3D engines after that. So have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.